Obviously, we've addressed the difference in the offense with Dylan Gabriel in play, but on the defensive side, there continue to be struggles. Did you see anything that would lead you to believe that they're shoring a few things up?
I think in there were moments, Mark. There were moments where they looked a little bit better. There were, they had a couple of interceptions. They were able to get off the field a little bit more on third down, specifically third and long. A situation, I still think Kansas was somewhere in the neighborhood of 5 of 11 or somewhere around 50%, which is much better than it needs to be. So I think there was portions of the game where I think they played better, but I think there was also portions of the game where the effort just didn't look like it was there. The communication didn't look like it was there, and they gave some. I mean, just after Oklahoma scored, just some very, very easy scores to Kansas. So I know Kansas is definitely better. Obviously, you can tell that they're better, but you still, as an Oklahoma team, you can't give up 42 points against Kansas at home, which is what happened. And there was a couple of situations where they were given a short field where you put the defense at a little bit of in a bad position, so that's understandable. But still, interesting stat here, Mark, that I was just looking at over the last 3 or 4 years. So obviously Oklahoma's defense has been very much maligned and with good reason over the last few years. So I just looked, and obviously there's only 4 games in this year in Big 12 play, but in 2019 in Big 12 play, Oklahoma gave up, I think it's 26.3 points per game, 26 points. 2020 is 25 points per game. 2021 is 28. Through 4 games in 2022, 47 points per game in conference play, which is almost 35% worse than what they have been. So I mean, I think that stat is extremely alarming. And so what do you do to fix it? Again, I don't know that it's fixable this year. I think it's recruiting. I think it's transfer portal. I think it's getting guys to buy in. Whether that means Ted Roof as the sacrificial lamb here at the end of the season, it's probably what's going to happen, unless they just make a dramatic turn here in the last part of the conference season, which you've got, as we talked about, who Oklahoma has played thus far. I mean, you've got TCU, you've got Texas, that are 2 of the 3 highest scoring teams in the league, along with Kansas, right? So I think the good news, the silver lining here, is that you've played if you're Oklahoma, you've played 3 of the best offensive teams thus far, but still you've got you still got Oklahoma State, you still got West Virginia, that they're still they're scoring at a decent clip as well. Scored, what was it, in the 40s again in the win against Baylor last week. So you've still got a lot of good teams. Now I think here's where the rubber, I think, meets the road to a certain degree. Next week, you have some opportunity to get some guys some rest and get some guys healed up. Iowa State has scored 65 points in 4 games on offense in the Big 12 play. So I mean, you do that quick math, and that's less than 20. That's around 17 points per game, and somewhere in that neighborhood, at least 17 points per game. So if this team goes out and gives up 35 to Iowa State next Saturday, then then going to be one of those situations where Oklahoma has to um, you have to feel like you have to score at least 50 points a game every single game on the offensive side of the ball just to be able to win any of these games. So we'll see what that like I said, we'll see what that looks like. Like I said, Iowa State is clearly they have struggled the most in their 4 games, but they've been outside of Kansas State. No, I'm sorry, that's 4 games. They've been the best defensive team in the league, only giving up 79 points in a total of 4 games defensively. So your chances of scoring 50 in Ames against this Iowa State, which have a lot of respect for, Matt Campbell and then specifically the defensive side of the ball, what they've been able to do, but it's alarmingly bad. I think, Mark. I don't think anyone expected this coming into the season. I think a lot of people expected Oklahoma to be, including myself, in the top 25, top 30 in overall defense, scoring defense, and whatever statistic you want to look at that really measures that defensive efficiency. But my gosh, 47 points per game, and you've got and that's with a couple of teams that really kind of called off the dog, so to speak, in the fourth quarter. So they've, I guess the good news is it can't really get a whole lot worse, which is it's shocking to me. Shocking. I never would have expected, even understanding that the talent was not there. Maybe certainly at the level that Venables was used to at Clemson, but not there that is becoming of the University of Oklahoma. But still, never thought that we would see even a small sample size like 4 games, a team like Oklahoma giving up an average of 47 points per game.